is going to give you some tips and suggestions on how to do data cleaning and how to start the whole process of data analysis. So, first 3 key steps to initiating data analysis. The first thing is, if you are using a digital data collection tool, is to download the raw forms, the raw files. Alternatively, if you are using pen and paper, then like mentioned in the earlier video, it's to kind of do all your data entry and have one sheet for which you are going to be starting to look at. You then need to go into coding, qualitative interviews, and participatory tools as to, if you've collected a lot of information on feedback of a program. You then need to look at all the different sort of data you have and quantify it to some degree to see what major trends are emerging. You could also start using, just to compare what your data says, is to start using primary data from government or other records. However, the key part of all of this is to bring all the different kinds of data you've collected onto one Excel sheet or one platform. It could be SPSS or Excel, but bring it all and organize all your data in one sheet or one platform. The next thing is about data cleaning, and I will be showing you an Excel sheet here as to what are the usual and common sort of things that come up when you start data cleaning. But before starting any sort of analysis, please ensure you have done 2 to 3 rounds of data cleaning. When I say data cleaning, it could be, when you're asking qualitative questions, you are, it's being written in another language, in Hindi or Gujarati. It could also be that there are options. For example, if there is occupation question, there are already occupation options provided, but someone has said others, has marked others and then written that option. So, about cleaning that and ensuring we have the right numbers. Also, it could be logical errors, like, it's a male respondent, but the male respondent is pregnant. So, there could be also logical errors. So, to ensure that you are looking at data cleaning before starting analysis. And finally, we then move into data analysis, where you can choose different tools, Excel, RStata. Qualitative data can be analyzed using MaxQDA, R, NVivo. And for smaller studies and for beginners, we suggest Excel because it has a lot of inbuilt functions already. So what is this whole concept of data cleaning? So, and what do you need to do? So the first thing is document all the assumptions that you're making. So if you're saying that, we've got feedback on children saying that computers are being used regularly, but you have that in different forms. Some student says, the last week we used it 4 times. We studied using computers 4 times. Or another qualitative inference is that my last lesson was done through computers. So what I'm trying to say is, if you are taking different similar responses to a survey and you're coding them as one thing, computer usage in classrooms or reported computer usage in classrooms, document that these are all the 5 statements or 6 types of statements that we are considering as computer usage from the children's perspective. Clean typo errors, and I will show you some examples. So, if there's something on something written in Hindi, or the spelling of computer is written in 5 different ways, Excel is going to take it as 5 different responses. So, clean typo errors. Again, resolve numeric discrepancies, like if a child's age is mentioned as 130, or if someone's parents' income, there's an outlier which says 1 lakh per month, when we know that the average income is around 15,000 rupees per month. Also, look at missing values. Now, if a response is blank, then we need to ensure that did the person not answer the question, did the person not know, did the person refuse, and then we need to code them appropriately. Because if it's just blank, then that doesn't give us any information. So we need to either mark them as don't know, refusal, refused, etc. Then I think very important is to do a whole in-depth data review. So, how many do you have yes, no, dichotomous questions? How many multi-choice are there? What kind of qualitative data are we going to be getting? So that you can actually organize it to see how, you should sort out your data. Then also start coding qualitative information. Now, for example, if someone says others, like why did you not attend school? Now we have 5 options. We didn't attend school because festival, parent, whatever, family commitment, I was sick. And then, you have 4 or 5 options, and then you have an other. So now others could have multiple responses. You need to clean those others and see, does it fit into one of your options or is it a completely new option? And or if you create a new code that, okay, now one thing that has come up a lot is that they had, they did not have access to transport or the weather or something like that, then you need to add codes to your document or to your data sheet, which is your document assumptions. Like I mentioned, logical errors. Now this is where field notes really come into picture. So, if you said, okay, there are 6 bathrooms and all of them have hand washing facilities, but then somewhere it says that there's no water. So there is some logical error. There's no water available in the school, but we marked yes on hand washing facilities. So then we need to check in our field notes to say, okay, what was the situation of wash infrastructure in schools? Key to this entire exercise, and when you're starting to look at the data, study the data, do highlight all the common errors in data collection, because that will help you, one, to make changes to the tool, as well as work with your data collection teams to tell them that in the future these should be addressed and should not be repeated. So as time progresses, life does get simpler and data does get cleaner. Also, a few considerations. We already discussed unique IDs so that you can identify who has participated across the evaluation stages. Definitely look at your tool review and start analysis with different sections. So first you will start analysis with demographic details of students. Then you will look at participation in classrooms of students. So have some structure based on your tools as to what kind of data you're looking at, and bunch them and group them. Also look at demographics first, because it might be that you want to see learning outcomes among students, but you want to kind of see that what is the difference between school learning outcomes of students in schools in Gujarat or Rajasthan. You might also want to look at, is there a difference, is the program more impactful for elder students, or is it more impactful for girls? So it will help you to identify these correlations or cross tabulations you want to undertake. The next is, we've already focused on our research questions while developing our tools, but ensure that the data that, or the pivot tables you're making, or the data that you're analyzing answers the research questions, and then you can have different variables included like age, gender, religion, but focus on the research questions. Also, and based on these research questions and based on your sections of your tool, you can then start making Excel sheets and pivots. So you can say, okay, Excel sheet 1 is all the demographic details. Excel sheet 2 is student engagement. Excel sheet 3 is perceptions on or digital skills. So then you start making pivot tables according to these different sections. Also, like there are certain things like using mean for income, medians should be used because there could be multiple outliers. Also, you could run p-value test, t-test, all of these, but it depends on what your research questions are and what kind of skill sets you have internally. I think in the next communicating impact piece, we are really going to talk about the fact that one picture is worth 1,000 more words, is equivalent to 1,000 words, because everyone is now tuned to look at visual data rather than long essays. So when we start analyzing, also think about how we're going to represent this data and select appropriate representation types. So I think this is just a very quick overview on data analysis, what you should keep in mind and consider while doing data cleaning to ensure we have good impact reports. So the next module is going to look at impact reports and communication for development, and I'm looking forward to that. Thank you.